Well, welcome back with Nasir Iftikhar. Today's topic will be mobile networks with security networks or network security regarding 5G. And I think this session would last almost 10 minutes, probably 15. And we'll just carry on with the presentation. With this part two. How many of you have been very upset with your fiber or internet down, or no access to 3G or 4G mobile data signals? Perhaps quite annoying, right? And so the discussion also continues as to for how long can we stay without internet and network connectivity. So we'll also touch upon how networks are secured. Many of you already know about security threats, about intrusion detection and prevention. In our neighborhood, we have probably 20, 25 Wi-Fi networks. And when it comes to 5G, as it is with 4G today, detection, prevention, denial of service, jamming, logging of events, notification blacklist, etc. Carrier grading of Wi-Fi network is better protected against security threats. Okay, yeah, backhaul Wi-Fi traffic to the mobile network over a number control functions can be exercised, such as building policy authentication, addressing mobility management, roaming, content filtering, and lawful intercept. Okay, this is more into accessing services on a radio access network, because that is the real name of 5G or the mobile network. HubSpot 2 is still important things because um, a 5G phone or device will be connected with the 5G compliant routers, who will again be connected to 5G compliant base stations access points. And perhaps some changes also when it comes to new SIM types. What is a bit more fun to talk about is the quality of experience and quality of service. We'll come a bit more back to that. Network features. I mentioned a bit about virtual LAN, new standards being launched. It will, although, take probably some months and years before we have all of it connected. And multicast is an important keyword here, because just like it is more or less with satellite communication and broadcasting, you multicast out from radio networks or base stations. as an MP still in work, I think. Yeah, so by considering spectral efficiencies associated with some of the 5G technologies, the demand ahead, the minimum spectrum requirement can be established. I mentioned about this in our previous presentation about how data traffic, because that is what the technical efficiency is about. And then we can come to um, the content side of it a bit later. Wireless personal area network would be opened up for connecting IoT devices. I mean, that can be your mobile phone, your smartwatch, your electric car applications, maybe your what do you call those two wheelers? Electric bikes, etc. And what is maybe interesting is that Bluetooth or Bluetooth 2 is operating in so-called pico cells, where one master node controls up to 7 slaves or devices of communication via a master node. So when Bluetooth data rates with enhancements can be up to 2.5 megabit per second, that it will be 24 megabit bit per second with Bluetooth version 3, which is coming now. Some will have it already, while others will see this in new devices. So I think 24 megabit per second via Bluetooth transmission is quite good, and I hope that the range can also be a bit longer than it has been, up to a couple of 100 meters. So the processing speed of coded data packets exceeds with the so-called maximum air interface speeds by one or several orders of magnitude. Okay. And when it comes to network noding, what is just important to understand here is that, like it is now in our 4G world, with even Bluetooth connection, you just try to use the Bluetooth on buses and trucks and in your car, and you'll see that sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. So very important with that the network relays function properly. Yeah. Some achievement concepts with the mobile network trafficking is that there's interoperability with seamless communications between servers and clients from the backhaul or backend to front end devices, and that wireless technologies work whenever needed. And it is also number two about context awareness related to content. 5G terminals should collect information from radio environment and adapt their radio parameters accordingly to support energy efficient connectivity among other use cases. And the third achievement is learning ability. The 5G devices should be able to communicate with machines and humans like in an intelligent manner. Therefore, the terminal must support different machine learning algorithms. So that means that today's Microsoft, Google, and other voice recognition technologies should be um, more capable, having the capacity to take orders, typically from trains, buses, ferries, and cars and trucks to obey orders. And also, for sure, that's coming to your smartwatch and smartphone as well, and to computers and home networks where you can shout out what you want to be done for you. And self-optimization, advanced optimizations where schemes based on the environment knowledge and selected wireless technology should be employed on 5G terminals to reduce power. So sorry for being too detailed on this subject. I hoped that we could have more Q&As and show of 5G phones and content later. But to understand how you can secure systems and technology, you have to learn about the infrastructure, about technologies being used like GPS receiver. Okay, and then we're coming more to conventions about policies, protocols, databases, software controlled access. We should also know a bit more about radio spectrum bands and unoccupied channels. We could talk for hours about the different radio specters, different bands, who is operating where, how data theft is done, uh, intelligence agencies, um, radio networks, hackers, etc., how they use active or and inactive channels. Sensors are actually quite cool. Um, Usually harmless things, and who reacts to motion and or cognitive signals and movements. Yeah, we will not take up algorithms for practical security and hacking and all that. Algorithms matters, but let's stay more to. Let me present an overall understanding of things around us. Yeah, this is how the equipment is supposed to react and work uh, for us, the consumers. It's supposed to be a seamless connectivity, fast and reliable hardware, dynamic spectrum allocation, very important that things are automatic or semi automatically available and flexible, and geolocation databases that we have access to use and connect on databases so that for people in one country and region, it's not like it's being on the sea or on on a mountain hill where you don't have access, etc., etc. TV white space is a nascent technology, and it's too early to say too much more about it. But this is again some very cool things, I would say, with the media industry and all of us in within the tech industry is somewhat aware about. Yeah. Um, yeah. Small break there. And when it comes to terrestrial infrastructure, there is some information about that here. I don't think I'm going to mention that. Um, Other than having mentioned that hybrid network approaches uh, is the way things are solved. Common broadcasting system, some other enablers uh, related to physical, physical networking. I know that it's not something you have to understand or maybe a bit boring. Um, but what I would like to have mentioned here is that Huawei is only one stakeholder. You have Samsung, and we have been looking at Ericsson's network, Nokia. So it's not that you have to stick to one provider, but the Chinese are quite dominant when it comes to high tech, also here. So these are basically digital TV, fiber TV technologies in use today, and will certainly also be with us in the hereafter, which implies more than 30 times traffic increase for the next 5 years, and even 1,000 times increase in within 10 years if extrapolated the forecast further, was my comment after a study in early 2019. So 1.5, 2 years ago now. Yeah, this is just to explain that we have generations or phases where all of this has been following the roadmap or developing path. and primarily use of 694 to 790 megahertz band by broadcasting and on mobile radio technologies. HDTV is frequencing on up to 900 with mobile broadband. So terrestrial broadcasting networks plays a major role in maintaining the competitiveness with providing good quality content and with the wireless broadband me and you are using it right now, basically. So when it also comes to HD TV, you know that you need product technology, camera technology, etc., to reach 2004, 2000 MP resolution, etc. I think we just have to stop there a bit and then we'll continue.